Kathleen, would you like me to begin, or do you want to?
Well, I'll just open the meeting. So I'm not thinking, the application by Adams Court Property Owner LLC for a minor modification and determination of an insubstantial change to the comprehensive permit and recorded with in book 42080, page 75 of Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. The introducing ourselves because we're on Zoom. So I'm Kathleen O'Donnell, Chair. Jeff
Mullen, a member of the board.
Nick.
Gray, member of the board.
And we have before us Peter Freeman, who's the attorney for the applicant. Peter, do you want to
Sure.
launch in your request?
Sure. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. And to reintroduce you, several years ago now, but Sean McReynolds is here and Jen Corcoran from the applicant. So as you know from my letter dated April 30th, it's just a really minutia technical thing. I honestly don't know why they include this in the regulations as a change. But in any case, as you see, it is typically considered an insubstantial change to ask for approval of a change in the subsidy program. And in this case, it is still mass housing. We had been approved under the project under the New England Fund program, which was what was before you when we had the zoning hearings and the decision. And now they came up with a new program, combination of equity and a good loan program, which is called Forge and Momentum, also under their building incentive program that they really just came up with. It's almost brand new. And it's a great package for a project like this. So, you know, they've approved it all. Sean just went in and signed the regulatory agreement. It's not recorded yet, but the closing will take place next week. And they're doing it under this program. So that's really the simple explanation, and happy to answer any questions.
Jeff and Nick, did you have any questions, Jeff?
I mean, I listened to that. I don't understand what we're doing. Sorry.
It's under the regulations and CMR 55605 CMR. They have to applicant has to submit to us a project eligibility letter, and if there's a change in the financing, they have to come back and let us know, and then we have to make a determination whether or not that change is substantial or insubstantial, which is really all we're being asked to do. Is they're switching from one program at Mass Housing to another program at Mass Housing, and we just have to sign in. He has to be able to tell the state that we think it's a minor modification and insubstantial change.
Is there an actual change in the financing, or is it just moving to a different program?
It's a different program.
Just a program. Yeah, just a program.
It's this new
Mass
build.
Housing, Mass Housing, didn't even, think we needed to come, but, I'm a stickler for the rules, and that's what the regulation says. And as I did say in the letter, it is indicated that it is typically treated as an insubstantial change. It doesn't change anything on the project whatsoever.
Nick, did you have any questions?
Just confirming. I think it's obvious what Attorney Freeman is saying, but there's just changing the financing. There will be no change to the scope or design or the building or any of the, just to get it on the record, anything that would affect traffic or construction process with the project, right? This is just merely one mass housing program funding source to another. Is that about right?
It's 100% correct. Yes.
Okay. Now I have no further questions.
So I would ask for a motion. I will make the motion, whatever, that we would approve the change in the financing and make the determination that this change is an insubstantial change.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And as a person in the neighborhood, I'm watching, drove by it this morning. They were working in the rain.
Well, it's good to see these projects happen, and we appreciate all that you all did way back, and we happily settled, as that about a repeal. So that did delay things, but they're they're going forward, so
They're
it's
charging
always a good,
along. We can see
it's always,
that.
that's right. It's always a good feeling. So sorry to interrupt your day on the day before Memorial Weekend, but in any case, I thank
It's
you
all
very
right.
much.
I'm off on
Okay,
a boat.
All right.
great.
Thanks, guys.
Stay warm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. We have a second hearing?
Yes.
What's that one about?
So that one is the Blue Hill Avenue Apartments,
I'm
Yep.
sorry,
at
Kathleen,
582.
Kathleen, do we have to document this?
Yeah,
Do you have a form for that? As I think I have a form that you might want to use. You want me to send it to
for
you?
the insubstantial change
We
thing.
just did, yeah. We did this
Yes.
once before. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, okay. That'd be great.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um, no, that's thanks. So at 10:45, supposedly we were having the second one, which is the Blue Hill Avenue Apartments. And unlike this one, which we just heard, they have a regulatory agreement which requires the execution of page of it by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So let me just sort of explain what that is. So when you do the financing, there is a regulatory agreement that controls the affordability of the project. It's agreement between the development proponent and the financing. So in this case, Blue Hill Apartments is getting financing. There's a regulatory agreement, and on that regulatory agreement, there's an acknowledgement page by the Zoning Board of Appeals that acknowledges that the regulatory agreement meets the requirements of the comprehensive permit, and that the units are required to be affordable under the comprehensive permit, and they're rented in accordance with the provisions of the regulatory agreement. And any local preference that was allowed is allowed to be done only at the initial rent up, and that's the initial first tenants. And that, compliance with their limitation on profits is done by the subsidizing agency under the regulatory agreement. And so we sign that if we choose to, just to say that this regulatory agreement is in compliance with the comprehensive permit.
How
So
come we don't have one of those in the other deal?
I thought that was odd, but that's apparently the different, I was gonna ask Peter how come, but I didn't want to start a whole another situation. But their regulatory agreement, they've already signed it. It's unusual. I've never had one that's been signed by the Zoning Board of Appeals. It must be the financing that they're using, the bank that they're using.
We haven't done them in the other ones. We've been
No,
all these other 40B.
I mean, as you know, in my past life as town council, I never had to do this. So
Maybe
it's
Jesse
odd.
can explain.
Jesse should have been signing on. Is he here? Hey, Bill,
I
is
don't-
Jesse in the waiting room?
Oh, hang on. Yep,
JC.
there he is. Sorry. Just promoted him.
Jesse, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Nice to see all of you.
So, yeah,
I was
did you hear
overhearing
us?
your
Did you
conversation.
hear-
The answer to the question, the acknowledgement page is something that Mass Housing, they request that the zoning board sign off on for projects under the NEF program. I
Okay.
haven't seen the regulatory agreement for the project that Peter's project converted to, so maybe they use a different form of regulatory agreement. I just don't know the answer to that because that
Yeah.
program's so new.
Yeah.
But for NEF program projects, that is the acknowledgement is a standard part of the form, has been for years.
Okay.
The other project that the Tamposi group had a regulatory agreement for recently, the board did not sign off on that because town council had some issues with the agreement. It took us a certain amount of time, and Mass Housing just decided to proceed without the board's acknowledgement. So it's
Oh,
if the board
That does
doesn't
not
sign it,
sound like an ideal outcome from my perspective, just so you know.
yeah, I think Mass Housing, they want the board to sign, but if a certain amount of time goes by, they proceed and say we're signing it, and they add a couple of provisions that say essentially that the regulatory agreement controls in the event of any conflict and things like that.
Yeah, that gives me a lot of comfort, Jesse. Thank you.
No problem.
so I went through the regulatory agreement and I compared it to the comprehensive permit. And, we did have an offer from the council who had represented the town, I think
Kathleen, you
when,
might want to, let's open it.
yeah, oh, sorry. I forgot that part. So we're opening the hearing on the application by Blue Hill Avenue Apartments for approval of the regulatory agreement to be executed by the Zoning Board of Appeals, acknowledging that the regulatory agreement complies with the comprehensive permit. And on the hearing this morning, we have, introducing ourselves,
Jeff Miller, member of the board.
Gray, member of the board.
Kathleen O'Donnell, member of the board, chair. And Jesse Schulmer is appearing on behalf of the applicant. As I said, so the process is that we have been asked to approve this acknowledgement page for the Zoning Board of Appeals attached to the regulatory agreement. And Jesse, so that all you just need is this approval from us to say that we'll sign this acknowledgement form.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
And the form, the regulatory agreement, as we were just discussing a moment ago, it's a standard form. It's identical essentially to the agreement that was used for the Brush Hill Road project that recently started construction. And changes to the document are typically not allowed by Mass Housing unless there's some kind of unusual or exceptional circumstance that requires changes. So we haven't asked for any changes to the standard agreement. It's identical, essentially just filling in the blanks for what the project's particular details are, what the location, number of units, etc.
And so for the other members of the board, the sort of interesting thing about this is that it has a 30-year term. It provides for excess distribution to the town in the event that these people make a bucket more money than they're supposed to be making. And interestingly enough also is that it says that the permit that we have says that if this regulatory agreement disappears, there's supposedly to be a local regulatory agreement in its a second position. And so that regulatory agreement would be, if the select board asks for it, would be filed by the applicant within 90 days of the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy. So I think we have to do a request to the select board as to whether they want to have a regulatory agreement that runs to the town that's behind this one. It doesn't give us any rights until this one expires, but it might be something that it's in the permit, so there must have been some reason why we thought that was a good idea.
We thought it was a good idea from a belt and suspenders perspective for that purpose, but
But it's just something we have to remind, the select board's not going to remind itself. We're going to have to do that, I think. Jesse, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't. Thank you. We're happy to cooperate if the town decides they want to do the local regulatory agreement, and we'll of course go along with that process.
I would assume that we will.
Yep, I assume so too.
Jeff, and did you have any questions?
what's the status of the project?
We're currently in the process of applying for the final approval, which is the last step in the regulatory process before we pull building permits. And the developer has actually already filed for building permits. So as soon as this process that we're here talking about is completed, we believe that Mass Housing will issue final approval within a week or two. And I'm not sure of the timing of issuance of building permits, but I expect this project to be moving forward in the coming weeks and months.
So this construction season,
Yes.
is the property vacant?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can inquire and find out.
And on the explanation that Kathleen gave, thank you, Kathleen. So you haven't changed the agreement at all, but we're signing this because it's a Mass Housing preference?
Correct. That's
And
the
it,
request.
I'm sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
Mass Housing requests that the board sign off to just as an acknowledgement. It's not, the board isn't becoming a party to the agreement. You're not waiving any rights or anything like that.
Acknowledging that it's consistent with the comprehensive permit we issued.
Correct.
Can I ask the group if I should be nervous that Zoom just asked me if I switched language from English? Should I be concerned about my particular accent?
I don't know.
All right.
I certainly would be if I were you.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Hinkley Road.
But
Hinkley Road.
fortunately, Kathleen and I and Attorney Schomer are skilled in your particular dialect. And so we're comfortable with proceeding notwithstanding Zoom's issues.
Appreciate that, Council.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a courtesy extended to
Columbine neighborhood, courtesy,
I am
professional
a member
courtesy.
in good standing of the bar,
Yeah,
actually.
that too.
The bar, yeah, okay.
The bar.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I never saw that before. Whatever.
Well, having just watched this special last night about Roger Cook, the guy at on This Old House, who tells somebody from Texas to put the stuff on the top, and she puts it on the top of the grass. And he's
Oh.
like, no, the top. She goes, oh, tarp. Yeah,
Not the first time that mistake's been made.
exactly. So we could have a motion to approve the execution of the acknowledgement form by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Thank you very much.
So
Um,
Jesse, so I printed off a copy. I'll go to town hall on Tuesday. I'll sign it. And get my signature notarized. Do you need to have the other two members sign it?
I can't remember if the form has
It has
things
two.
for everyone.
It has two, but maybe that could be e-signatures.
I think that should be fine. I can ask Mass Housing. E-signatures should be fine for this, I think.
I'll do mine original, and that'll be notarized, and then the other two we could just do e-signatures or something.
I can swing by too, but
Okay.
that's
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Yeah.
whatever you need.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll follow up and try to get an answer about whether the property is occupied, and
don't worry about it, Jesse. I mean, I go by there. I took a look at it. I wonder. I was over on Brush Hill. I saw they started construction.
I'll have to ride my bike over there and check it out. I haven't been over there yet.
On Brush Hill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've been going at it for a while.
Yeah.
All that dangerous road that's difficult for biking down to the train station, I seem to recall from the hearings, right?
yeah,
No comment.
Yeah. No comment.
But,
very safe. Very safe.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll check
Okay.
it out. That's fun. I'm glad it's starting to get working.
Yeah, it's nice, as Peter said, it's nice to see these projects actually
Yeah.
come out of the ground and not just waste all of your time with the permitting.
Oh no, it's great.
Well, the town
Far
needs the
from
housing,
wasted.
so
Far from wasted, in my opinion. The one on the Parkway is done.
it looks pretty much done, right? Maybe I'll swing by that one and then swing by Brush Hill Road and then go over to East Milton. Sounds like a ride for the weekend
There you go.
in the rain.
All right.
All right.
Anything else?
Not for me.
Sounds good.
I hope everybody has a
Good luck,
lovely
Jesse.
weekend.
You too. Happy.
Thank you. You as well.
really-
Thanks, guys.
And can
You're
we
welcome.
vote to close the hearing?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Hey,
Aye.
No debate on
Thank
that?
you.
no debate. Can't debate that one, I think. See you guys later.
All right.
Bill, hey,
Have a
Bill,
good one.
Bye.
Weekend. Take care now.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Jill.